Welcome back, everyone, to the Queen of TV channel. Before we get into the intro, let's get into some things first. First, please watch the video to the very end and do not forget to like, comment, subscribe. Second, there will be cursing and profanity. If that's not your cup of tea, this channel is not for you. 3, I'll be giving my honest opinion about the episode and the show as a whole. And lastly, this episode has piqued me to start having an anxiety issue. So I pray to God, with everything that's been going on, that I can remember everything that happened in this episode in order. But let's get into the intro. Welcome, everyone. I'm your host, the Queen herself, and you are the Prince and Princesses. Why? Because you're either a subscriber or you are a viewer. Either way, welcome. Today, we're talking about H2O Season 2, Episode 20, Gracie Code Part 2. Okay, let's get this over with. We start off this episode at Cleo's house as Lewis has brought over all of Max's research and they are looking through it. Cleo even finds a picture of Gracie smiling, saying that she was just like us. This is when Cleo's phone rings and it is Charlotte. She is calling, asking if Lewis is there. Lewis gets on the phone. He had forgotten about him meeting her later on, and he even turned his phone off, so she couldn't really contact him. He tries to say that he's going to be another half an hour, but she does not want to wait another half an hour, so he says that he is on his way, and he leaves. The next scene obviously is of Lewis and Charlotte. Charlotte's complaining, asking Lewis what did he do at Cleo's house and made him lose track of time, and that it makes her feel weird that he's spending time with 3 girls. It's like she's not even his girlfriend. He says that it should not make him feel weird. Like, it should not make her feel weird because they are all just friends. And another note, Emma has a boyfriend and Ricky has a boyfriend. Cleo and Lewis, you are fully aware we already liked each other before you got with him. At this fucking point, you have no right to complain. You put yourself in this situation, okay? And second of the very fucking all, he was doing this before y'all dated. You ought to be used to this at this point. So, back to the episode. I digress. Lewis said that they would do some research and he got caught up. She know how he get caught up. She says what kind of project they were doing, because that's what he says. The research is project. And he makes something up, but she's not completely convinced. Rick apparently finds it very paranoid of Charlotte to just sit there and call her boyfriend's ex-girlfriend, asking where he's at. Obviously, Emma's being more sympathetic, saying that he was obviously worried about her. Cleo says that the film that she finds a little bit more interesting. It's a film of all of the girls as mermaids, of Gracie and Max together, etc. Emma ends up leaving and going to work, where she's confronted with Ash, who wants to know why she doesn't swim anymore, and she says it's not really her thing, and he wants to know if she wants to go to the beach with him and get in the water, but she says, she doesn't get in the water, but, she doesn't also not decide not to go. I think she did, but she does eventually do show up there waiting for him, so she's willing to go if they don't get in the water. And he tells her that, babe, no water. So, back at Cleo's house, Charlotte decides to make a visit and ask Cleo what project her and Lewis was actually doing. Now, this is borderline fucking bipolar. There's no reason for you to go your ass over there and do that. But Cleo's confused about what damn project she's talking about. Ricky has to make up a good excuse that Lewis was talking about the project with all the astrological maps and stuff that they were doing and stuff that he's into, and they're able to convince her, and she says that she must sound paranoid, and Ricky condescendingly says no, when in reality, yeah, she is. And Cleo is more sympathetic than Ricky is, and Charlotte's about to leave until she sees a picture of Gracie where it is revealed that Gracie is her grandmother. I have been saying this even before we got to this episode, y'all. But this is the episode of confirmation. Gracie is her grandmother. And she's asking Cleo why does she have a picture of her grandmother. They let Lewis know that Gracie's Charlotte's grandmother, and when he asked why they let her take the picture, they tell him what was they supposed to do. They couldn't just tell her no. Like, that's her grandma. That's so damn insensitive. Like, they were going to let her take the picture. It's of her grandmother. Yeah, it might be Max's things, but it was her grandmother. And they tell Lewis he has to make sure Charlotte doesn't find anything out. When Lewis goes talk to Charlotte, they do have a heart to heart about Gracie, where he talks about he can see a resemblance in that they do look alike. They are alike in personality, in my fucking defense. Um, Not as much as Charlotte. Gracie seemed like she could be a nice, good, genuine person, but like at the end of the fucking day, she can be selfish and is selfish. So great. Gracie and Charlotte were very close, a lot more closer than she was her own daughter, Annette, Charlotte's mother. And Charlotte said she could tell that her grandmother was different than anybody else. She just felt like a connection between the two. I mean, duh. You two are like one and the fucking same. And she said that her grandmother actually died when she was 7. So Gracie's been dead for like 10 years. It has been 10 years. So Charlotte at this point is 17 years old. So it's been a while. Been a whole decade. She said it's weird to see that it's a picture of her grandmother was at Cleo's house, and Lewis says, the universe always does weird things like this. And Charlotte sees a picture of the locket over Gracie's neck when she looks very close at the photo. She tried to tell Lewis that it looks exactly like Cleo and the rest of them locket. Lewis tried to say it's not and give her the runaround. She says it's exactly alike. She says, ain't that bizarre? And he tells her that a lot of people probably wore them back in the day. It probably was a fashion. But it don't seem like she fully is convinced. This is when we see that Emma meets Ash at the beach, and they're having a sweet moment together where they're watching the waves and they're talking to each other, having a lovely moment. And then Ash decides that the reason why Emma doesn't get in the water is because she's afraid of it. These damn flies. Um, he decides to help her with that damn phobia. The top asshole picks her up and tries to force her into the water. God. Maybe because you can't swim. That could also be a reason. Why you picking up trying to force her in the water? Shit pissed. He trying to ask her what the problem is, like why is it such a secret, all that, and she's about to show him that she's a mermaid to just get it all out of the opening. And guess what? He can't do it because a group of people show up. So she changed her mind and then leaves. We then see that Charlotte goes talks to her mother about the locket after we see a scene of Lewis rest assuring Cleo that he was able to convince Charlotte that there's nothing to look into about Gracie. Well, unbeknownst to the both of them, her mother reveals to Charlotte that her mother would have never worn anything like that. She wasn't that type of person. She had a specific taste. That's only because she did not know her mother in her youth. Okay, her mother would have wore something like that if it came from somebody special, not necessarily that it wouldn't be a type of jewelry that wouldn't be her taste. But I can attest from that Gracie apparently was the type of person that cared about appearances and would only wear stuff that she felt was actually worthy putting over her neck, let alone anything to do with her body. So she was a particular person. And this now reinforces Charlotte that something is going on and she needs to look into it more. So while Cleo, Emma, and Ricky are at the Juice Net Cafe, and Emma and Ash are able to smooth things over, and he's able to apologize, and they're able to work it out. Charlotte goes to Cleo's house while she's not there and convinces Kim to sneak into Cleo's room with her because she knows that Cleo would probably hate that. So she could take something that might be of value for her to look into about her grandmother. And I think she takes some more of them damn photos. She took something else beside the film that she took that Cleo was looking at earlier and says that that's what she was looking for. When Leo gets to her house, she finds out that the film is gone and confronts Kim, where Kim reveals that maybe it was Charlotte who came over and took it, but will not be given any more information after that. So they know for a fact that Lewis was not able to convince Charlotte, and they need to warn him that she has the film. Charlotte goes to her mother to ask if she could help her get the film transferred to DVD so she can look at it. At Mako Island, they tell Lewis about the film and how Charlotte has a hold of it. And Lewis asks if there's anything incriminating on it. And Cleo says that there's just old videos and photos of all of them, but also of them as mermaids. So they think as long as she doesn't have like a certain type of film projector, she really can't watch it. But Lewis says she could probably get it transferred to DVD. So he goes to Juice Net Cafe where she is looking at the video and all the moments between Gracie and Max. This is when Charlotte sees that Gracie was a mermaid, so Lewis wasn't able to stop her in the nick of time. The girls are at Mako saying that they know for a fact that Lewis has this down pat and that he's able to handle this, but apparently that is not the case. Lewis tries to convince Charlotte that her grandmother was not a mermaid, but she is not fully convinced. She knows for a fact in her heart her grandmother was a mermaid, and she now understands why her grandmother was the way she was, why she was so different from everybody else. But Lewis tries to get Charlotte to drop it, but it seems like that's not going to happen. Lewis tells the girls about the film and that Charlotte knows about everything. Well, not about them. She only knows about Gracie, and they tell Lewis he has to do something, but he tells them that is easier said than done. So let's get into the review. First of all, let me just talk about this before I get into what the fuck I need to talk about, because I know you fans of Charlotte, whenever y'all watch these videos and y'all want to know if I actually talk about, shit and whatever else y'all think I should be talking about. Let's talk about Ash real quick. What the fuck was that? First of all, look, this is grounds for an immediate I'm breaking up with your ass. You try to throw me into the damn water and force me to show you that I am a mermaid. Have you lost your ever loving mind? The fact that he did that and thought that was okay. Hell, like his family was gonna throw her ass in there. And apparently they made it work. She forgave him too fucking easy. If that had been anybody with a phobia of the water or ability not to fucking swim, and he threw them in the water and they damn near drowned, this ass immediately, like, him and Zane are showing some tendencies. Damn, Ash, I like you. Don't fuck it up. What's wrong with you, hell? Now, let's talk about this Charlotte situation. Let me be 100% clear before anybody say anything. We are not talking about the actress. We are not talking about the behind the scenes. We are not talking about whatever was that happened in the episode that might be some Easter eggs. Okay, we're going to be talking about this. Charlotte does have the right to know if her grandmother was a mermaid or not. This is true. But Charlotte does not have the right, the obligation, or the literal sense of deserving to not only know that Emma, Cleo, and Ricky are mermaids, but to be, but also she does not have the right to be a mermaid herself. Okay? Just because her grandmother was a mermaid, it does not mean she deserves to be a mermaid. It does not mean that she has a right to know everything about Cleo, Emma, and Ricky being mermaids. It does not mean that she is entitled to being one, nor is she the rightful owner of the locket that is over Cleo's neck, because Cleo has done things to prove that she has deserved the locket and deserved the secret and deserved to call herself a mermaid. This idea that her grandmother being a mermaid means that Charlotte is entitled to all these things is a fucking load of bullshit. She doesn't. This is not an inheritance, okay? This is not something that is passed down between parent and child. This is a gift that was given to Gracie for the wrong reasons by Max, who she broke up with, B, who Gracie also told that she did not want anything to do with the locket and gladly removed it from her presence and her life. That means that that locket is up for grabs for anyone. And Emma at first found it and claimed it as hers, but thought that it better go to Cleo because she's the one who deserved it more. And she did. And she does. And she always will. There is no debating that. There is no trying to undermine that. There is no second guessing that. That is factual facts. Why are my allergies doing this to me? So, for anybody that wants to question whether or not I think that Charlotte has the right to be a mermaid, she does not. For anybody that's wondering if I think that Charlotte does not have the right to know if her grandmother should be a mermaid or had been a mermaid, yes, Charlotte has the right to know her grandmother was a mermaid. But anything after that, absolutely not. Okay? I said that. That's done. I'm gonna probably get some debaters in the comments, but I am going to stand on what I said, and I ain't even backing down from it. I'm not doing it. Not backing down from it. I sympathize with her wanting to know more about her grandmother. But here's the thing. What would be the legit point of her finding this out? What would this change? This isn't going to affect her thought process of her grandmother. All it's going to mean is that her grandmother had a secret life that she can't tell nobody because no one is going to believe her. And if they do believe her and she shows them this evidence, her and her family are in big trouble. So, what would be the general point of Charlotte even revealing this information? None. There would be no point. There would be no reason. It would be pointless. So, yes, though she has the right to know why her grandmother was so different from everybody else, it does not mean that she is deserving of the knowledge of Cleo, Emma, and Ricky and the Mako's existence. And I wish it stayed that way. I would have been fine, yes, if she became a mermaid in the 13th episode. Because at least then we can explain that away. But here's the thing. Then they could have made the turning point to where Charlotte had found out her grandmother was a mermaid as well. The girls probably would have not told her about the original mermaids that or not. They probably wouldn't think to because it wouldn't have been of importance. But once they found out about Gracie, yes. then maybe Charlotte's change would have been made sense because obviously she thinks she's entitled more than they are, and it probably would have ruined any possible friendship that they built over due to her jealousy of Gracie having a more resemblance of changes in her life to Cleo than to herself. Now, on the sense of like how I feel about this fucking episode, to be honest, this is my least fucking favorite episode. One of my least favorite episodes of season 2. And the reason why that is, and you'll see in the top 10 least favorite episodes of for season 2, that one is because I do not like the fact that how this was done. Okay. The episode is not the problem. It's everything to do with Charlotte. I hate it. I hate it so fucking much because she's already a bad enough fucking character. But when you add on to that, her grandma's one of the original mermaids. Like, it just makes the entitlement that she has fucking worse, and it makes the narcissistic behavior that she is already displaying far worse, and it just means that she's going to get worse and worse and worse. And now she's going to have even more fucking screen time because now they really have to give her more screen time because it was very obvious to me that they planned on making her a mermaid from when I first watched this. Like, I fucking just knew. I knew she was going to be a mermaid, and that is why this episode and the next episode are my least fucking favorites because it freaking kills me. It freaking kills me because every fucking thing could have been avoided. I understand that none of them had any control in any of this shit, but I hate it. Like, I hate it because in this episode, they did everything in their power to keep them from finding out. And yes, you can argue that they were wrong for that. They should have just told her she was a mermaid. But, like, how the fuck do you explain to her that, hey, your grandma's a mermaid? Like, the question's gonna come up, like, how the hell do you know that? They can't just outright tell her. But they also can't let her know because then that means she's going to find about Cleo, Emma, and Ricky. They don't have to tell her that they're mermaids. She does not have the right to know that part. She can know about Gracie, yes, but when it comes to the girls, no. That is not information that's suitable for her to even have knowledge of. But in the next episode, it's made worse because when Cleo had made the comment in the previous episode that she doesn't fully trust Max, that maybe that this is a bad idea, she becomes right in the next episode because he's the one that fucking tells her about Mako Island and about how to become a mermaid. And I don't know why he did that. And I've never understood why he's done it. I didn't get it. And now looking back on it, I understand. That's why I said what I said in the previous episode about how he was in his relationship with Gracie. He cared more about her being a mermaid than he did her as a person. He did this for selfish reasons. He felt like it was his obligation to honor Gracie by helping her granddaughter become a fucking mermaid. But like he knew that that's something that Gracie hated. So it's like it's crazy to me, and that episode really pisses me off. And then we gonna get to the one episode that pisses me off, the fucking 23rd one. I just can't wait to get through all of this so we can hurry up and get to the episodes I actually give a damn about. Oh God, I can't wait. I can't fucking wait. I can't wait to get to episode 20 fucking 4 through 26. I can't. Oh God, because Lord have mercy. I'm almost through all the fucking episodes that's pissing me off. I just got legit 2 more to go and then I'm done. But that's all I got for you guys today. What do you guys think? Do you guys agree with my assessment that yes, Charlie does have the right to know grandma's a mermaid, but when it comes to everything else, no. Um Also, let me point out some people might have an issue with the girls constantly telling Lewis that he has to do something about this. For anybody that apparently does not understand this situation, What fucking right do Cleo, Emma, and Ricky have to go up to Charlotte and tell her to stop looking into the information with Gracie and try to lie to her like they fucking knew her grandmother? It makes more sense that her boyfriend, who she's with, would be a bit skeptical than them three, considering it's already suspicious enough that that damn picture was at Cleo's house. So you guys can stop wondering that and realize that he's the better person to have these conversations with than they are. Because that is her boyfriend. And she is not friends with them, so they don't have the right to come up with her with that kind of energy. But that's all I got for you guys today, and I will see you guys in the next video. So like I said, have a blessed day. Have a wonderful day. And if no one saw you today, I'm telling you, I love you. And I will see you guys in the next one because you already know this is the last time we're going to see each other. So until then, bye, guys.